If you would like to help keep the podcast running, you can go to patreon.com/Wesocracy and tip as low as $1. Every little bit is appreciated and helps me keep the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all of those wonderful places you can find the podcast on. If you tip $5, one of the benefits is I will write you a song and sing it on a future episode. If you enjoyed this edition of the BS Podcast, please fill out the survey that'll be in the description wherever you're listening to. Helps me get anonymous feedback to help improve later episodes. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the BS Podcast. Hello everybody, my name is Wes and welcome to the 42nd edition of the BS Podcast. This week I've brought in a brand new guest. Please introduce yourself.
How's it going, guys? My name's Hop. Channel name's HopInsteadofJump, but Hop's good enough.
What made you come up with that name?
It's actually from my last name. My last name is HopInstead, and then I got that nickname from somebody way back in elementary school. They just called me HopInsteadofJump, which I thought was hilarious, and it just stuck since.
That's a really good story. I really like that.
Yeah, I love it.
You have some real life implications, and then you had someone from elementary school give you a nickname, and suddenly, bam, it sticks for the rest of your days.
Yep. Been here literally since then. That's just what I've used for every single username ever.
See, I like when you can come up with just one username and be like, okay, I like this username, I'm gonna stick with it, and then you're good. Some of the worst things is having to come up with a name. I'm awful at coming up with a new name.
Yeah, that's how my girlfriend is. She's always like, I don't really know what name to be. And I'm just like, well, I can't relate. I've never had that problem.
Very fair. So what kind of content do you do on the interwebs?
I pretty much just make some gaming Let's Plays. You know, me and literally everybody else on the internet, other than you, apparently.
Hey, I haven't talked about it on the podcast, but I do have the Wesocracy channel rebranded third time. Wesocracy's lived again. Because it made no sense for it to still be Wesocracy under the BS Podcast for YouTube. So I changed it to BS Podcast for YouTube and branded it that. And then reborn Wesocracy again. And I'm doing weekly videos. So there's that. And they are technically Let's Plays, but not, in my opinion, traditional Let's Plays. But
okay.
You know. So, yes, everybody does Let's Plays.
Yeah, pretty much. See, when I started, I just, I was getting bored and lonely. So I was like, you know what? Maybe someone will enjoy watching me play games. Maybe I'll make some friends. That's about it. I just wanted people to hang out with.
That makes sense. My experience so far has been nobody wants to watch RuneScape videos, but I have a policy. You gotta try something for at least a month. If after a month you see no change, you know.
Definitely.
But every time you can put in more effort, you can be like, okay, what if I do this? Will this change it? No? Okay. Okay, how about if I change this? Oh, still no change? Oh, it's been a month. It seems like this is not something people want to see. So you move on. You find something else.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that for the most part. But like I said, for me, I do it for myself first and foremost, just as a hobby, just to have fun. And some people don't like it. That's just what it is.
That's very fair. That's a good mindset to go in with. I think that should be everyone's mindset. For me, I don't disagree at all. I just feel like if nobody's watching it, then, there's more productive uses of my time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's not really supposed to be any kind of insult. It's just, people don't want to watch RuneScape videos. What if I try this kind of video? Will people like that?
Definitely.
If so, yeah, it's a better use of time. So, what has been your favorite series to do on your channel so far?
Oh God, I don't know. That's a tough one. I got a couple, honestly. Lately, I did this new game. It's called Atomicrops, and it's kind of like a farming simulator, but you also have to defend your land from, I guess, these invaders. It's like a bullet hell mixed in with it, and it's just chaos 100% of the time. So I guess
Wow.
Yeah, that one's definitely one of my favorites. And then a few months ago, I used to do, I don't know how to explain it. It's like gaming music videos. I would take a song I really liked and then just overlay a bunch of gameplay, like me playing through the game, on top of the soundtrack. And I thought that was really neat.
I can definitely understand that. I think it is very interesting. The different stuff people can do with gaming videos, because you have your traditional Let's Plays, and there's a lot you can do with Let's Plays. There's a lot of different ways you can go about doing that. But
Yeah,
then you'll have like the game and music videos. You have gamographies that Flirty does. I really enjoy the gamographies.
yeah, what he does is pretty cool.
Uh-huh. And whether it be reviews or what have you, there's so many avenues you can go about to showcase a game. It's just very interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's fun watching everybody have their own ideas and creations and just make wild stuff.
You know, some gaming companies shoot themselves in the foot. You know this week's example of shooting yourself in the foot?
What?
Ubisoft support says, if players didn't buy loot boxes / crates, they would not be added into the game. And
Oh
while
my God.
this is not false at all. Why do you say this? You're just drawing heat on yourself for no reason.
I know, for real.
It's like, how can I shoot myself? How can I make people angry at me this week? Well, I'm gonna say what people say already, but I'm gonna throw it back at them. They'll like that.
I know, even though it's fair to be mad at them, that they're still not wrong. If people aren't spending, mad money on their loot boxes, why would they stop?
Yeah, I mean, the fact is, mobile games, which basically is that model of game, is the most profitable every year. So, it's hard to argue against it.
Yeah, exactly. Because if the demand's there, if no one's letting up, they have literally no reason to change anything.
And I think you'll find, and this actually goes to a topic I have later, that people aren't, for the most part, willing to give stuff up. They want everything, but they still want things to go a certain way. So while people may not want to have to do these microtransactions, people still want what's inside of them.
Yep.
And people fall into that trap with cosmetics. The thing is, once you open that door, and I personally, and I've said it multiple times on the podcast, that I think DLC was the precursor for big games having microtransactions. I think once they seen, oh, we can add more to get more money, they looked at how can we optimize that, and then they seen the mobile gaming model, and they're like, okay,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense, honestly.
And that's the thing. Once you open up to, I'm willing to give you more money for something else, that's how this problem started. I've never bought DLC specifically. I've bought Game of the Year editions that included DLC, but I've never specifically bought DLC.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Say, I only bought DLC that, from a game I really liked, like the Souls series. I bought all the DLC for all the Dark Souls. Same thing with Bloodborne, just because I thought they were amazing games.
I wish the rumor about Demon Souls being remastered would come true.
Oh my God,
I've seen that rumor for the past few weeks, and I mean, it's been talked about for years now that they want it remastered, but
yeah,
I want it to come true, because if you put Demon Souls remastered, then you have at least all the Souls games to be relevant, at least to current time. People can go, because right now, isn't Demon Souls only on the PlayStation 3?
It is.
How are people going to play that now? You need to put it on, you need to remaster and put it on PC, and then that's long-term value for the whole Souls games. You can play all of them now, if you do that. Well, besides Bloodborne. I don't think Bloodborne's on PC. That's still Sony only.
No, it's PS4 only. Yep.
Yeah. But, I mean, at least that's a current console.
Yeah, definitely.
Demon Souls is just kind of the one left behind, so.
Yeah, that was before that whole genre really took off anyway.
Yep, it was the precursor. But to go back to the Ubisoft thing, a topic I had planned for later is you have these streaming services, Disney Plus, whatever Warner Media's doing, Apple,
Yeah.
Amazon, Hulu, Netflix. And
Yeah.
as we've seen all these been talked about, you've had studies done that show people are going to go back to piracy, which, to me, I think it goes back to people want everything for the least. And I get that. Like,
Yeah,
Netflix
definitely.
was a beautiful concept. Netflix originally was a beautiful concept. I really liked it. But you had to have known that wasn't gonna last long term. That was always gonna be what's happening now was always eventually gonna happen.
Yep, unfortunately, that's just how it goes.
And the argument for piracy that I agree with is if you cannot legally obtain it, I agree with piracy, generally. If you cannot legally purchase it in a reasonable way. But
Oh yeah, I agree. Like if it's just locked out of your country or something, what else are you gonna do?
exactly. But in this scenario where, it's I don't want to pay for everything, but I still want to be able to watch everything. That's where I draw a bit of a line. I understand where they're coming from, and I don't disagree. I wish it was still the Netflix be all. That would be my ideal scenario.
Yeah.
But it's not unfair for the companies to want to make their own money with their own shows.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got to make a living somehow.
Exactly. And although people can say, the rich get richer, well, such is life. So, when it comes to that case of piracy, I just don't really agree with it in this scenario. I think if you can't afford everything, and that's fine, but that doesn't mean you should also still be able to get everything. Unfortunately, that's not how the man-made system works.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, in unrelated news, PUBG, PlayStation, and Xbox crossplay is now live. I never see people really super praise PUBG on the consoles, but if you want to play together, you can play together.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
I think all crossplay should be a thing.
Yeah, definitely. As far as I know, the only thing stopping that is just, all the big companies being selfish.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. Are you not confident enough that what the PlayStation or Xbox offers can compete?
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, why wouldn't you?
You would think it would just be more money for everybody if they can play with whoever they want,
Exactly. But if you can if it's like, I can now play multiplayer games with my friends, so why? It used to be, my friends played Xbox and my friends played PlayStation, so I'd also get the PlayStation console or Xbox console. But now that we can just play together anyway, I can get whatever I want and not be pressured into getting one because my friends are on it.
You would think it would be great because it helps everybody out, but I assume they do that because they want them to buy their own consoles and, just make the most money possible.
Gotta get all the money.
Yeah.
All the money.
Either all or nothing.
Yes. So last week, I don't know how big. I mean, I see you on Discord every day, so I assume you're a fan of Discord.
Yeah.
Last week, we talked about how Discord is discontinuing the Nitro Game Store, which, of course, who used it?
Yeah, for real.
And now people are freaking out that, Discord has confirmed that they had layoffs. Of course, they just got rid of the Nitro Game Store division.
Yeah, obviously.
Of course you're getting rid of those people.
Yeah, why would you need to maintain something, or, excuse me, that's wrong. Why would you have workers work on something that doesn't exist?
Exactly. So, I mean, that was just a logical step to me. I think Discord definitely has a problem when it comes to monetization because, sure, you have Nitro and Nitro Classic, but for me, I wouldn't disagree with paying Nitro or paying Discord a monthly thing, but emojis, for example, that don't do it for me.
Yeah, I agree. Me either.
There's just not enough perks, and there's enough. Discord would be better if some of those things were just already a part of the platform and not behind a monetization thing. But I understand that Discord needs to make money somehow, and I'm not sure the ideal way to go about that.
Yeah, I have no idea either. But like you said, you can't really blame them for trying, because honestly, what they have for free is still really good.
Absolutely. I really enjoy Discord. This podcast wouldn't be a thing without Discord. I tried it with Skype, and it just didn't work. It wasn't good for mobile.
Not to mention Skype is just...
I don't know if you know, but I'm mobile
just
only right now until we get moved.
You know, it just slows down everything. Hardly works half the time.
Without Discord, the podcast would not be a thing.
Yep.
Are you a big fan or a fan at all of Cuphead?
Oh yeah, I love Cuphead. That was actually the first series I ever did on my channel.
Very nice. Well, then you should be happy that following the 2-year anniversary of Cuphead, we have found out that they have sold 5 million copies, which is pretty good if you ask me.
Wow, yeah, that's super good.
Yeah. I personally never played Cuphead. It always looks like the kind of game that would frustrate me.
Yeah, it definitely gets pretty hard.
And for me, I don't want to be a rage gamer, but if you push me with a game that's gonna make me angry, then that happens. That's definitely a thing that is under my belt naturally. I get mad.
Yeah,
I did a Let's Play of Super Mario Bros. On the second Reborn Wasocracy channel, and I remember throwing a water bottle at one point. Yeah. I'd get pissed.
Yeah, Cuphead was the first and so far the only game that I have actually ever rage quit on. It was in the middle of a video. I just was like, all right, you know what? I need a break. I'm done. And I just set it down and walked away.
I rage quit on a Let's Play as well, but it wasn't Cuphead. But, kind of similar. Undertale broke me.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
What happened?
Cause I felt lied to, like, from the beginning. Like, I went in wanting to not kill anything because I think combat is overdone and overrated. So I wanted to play Undertale, not doing that. But what it actually means is you don't have to kill anything, but it's going to take 10 times longer, and it's going to test your patience. That's dumb. And I didn't know that when I was Let's Playing it. I tried to not, in the initial thing, I don't remember the name or anything to even spoiler it at all, but you had to do something at the beginning, and I'm like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. Fuck, I'm not having another option. It keeps giving me this option, so fuck it, I guess whatever. And from there, I was angry at the game, and I never got over it. The whole Let's Play, like, I wouldn't read stuff, like item descriptions, and it didn't tell you what stuff did.
Oh,
and apparently you need to use items for things, but I never did because they didn't explain it to me, and I was too pissy about being lied to that the game never had a chance. And eventually I think I got to some spider thing that you couldn't beat without some item.
Oh, yep.
And I quit. That was my breaking point.
Yeah,
I later found out that I was just, apparently I was being too ignorant to some of the game mechanics to properly enjoy it.
Yeah, there's no way I would have been able to do an entire peaceful run without, hand-holding a guide the entire way. I was like, nope, this is too complicated, not doing it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, love it or hate it, at least Pokemon's easy to play.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what I unfairly compare it to, is I like Pokemon for that reason. But Undertale, it's just, the way I wanted to play is the most frustrating and unrealistic without a guide to play. So, was not a fan. The Untitled Goose Game is coming to the PS4, Xbox One, and potentially even mobile.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that the Untitled Goose Game is doing well. I've really enjoyed every video I've watched on the Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah, me too.
And it's just such a silly game that it's charming.
It is. It was hilarious to watch.
Yes, and if it was reasonably priced on mobile and I'm still not moved, I'd probably buy it.
Yeah, it definitely looks worth it. I regret a little bit I haven't bought it, but I've seen so many videos on it, I feel like it almost makes up for it.
Yeah, Sonic Hits video, for example, really good. Talked about it last week. I'll praise it again this week. I really enjoyed it. So, what are your thoughts on first-person shooters? Are you a fan? Do you not play them?
I used to be a big fan way back in the day, like when Modern Warfare 2 came out. I played the crap out of that game, but just over time, I really stopped playing them. I just don't have that much of an interest in them anymore.
That makes a lot of sense. Obviously, being mobile only, I don't really get to enjoy first-person shooters, really. But, of course, you have Call of Duty, which everyone knows is the biggest FPS franchise. But we found out that in US dollar sales, Destiny is the #2 best-selling FPS franchise, which doesn't surprise me. I've heard, especially the first game, you heard a lot of good stuff about. A lot of people played it. I always enjoyed watching videos on Destiny. And Destiny 2 got a different reaction, and people act like that's a kind of a dead game, but
yeah.
It never was. It's alive and well. And obviously, being the #2 best-selling FPS franchise, it's doing really well.
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
And I think it's good, although it doesn't appear like Destiny is really in it to beat Call of Duty at this point. I don't think they're up there yet. But being #2 is definitely not a bad thing to be, with how profitable Call of Duty is.
Definitely. I think what really helped them was they're essentially, a completely different style from Call of Duty. Call of Duty's got that, like, quote unquote realism down, and Destiny's just going for, like, futuristic space age, which I feel like really helps them.
Exactly. Futuristic space age FPS plus RPG elements.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really set it apart and really elevated it over, like, Titanfall, Halo. Anytime Medal of Honor tries to make a new game.
Yeah, exactly.
Destiny just had that unique factor for the FPS genre that it really needed, and the execution to really nail it in. And Destiny's also the 7th overall best-selling franchise in tracked sales in a 5-year period, which is how long Destiny 1 through current has been, cool. 5 years. So, yeah. Definitely very interesting that Destiny's done so well. I own all the Destiny games. Once I get internet, I'm going to play them. I want to experience them.
I kind of want to get back into Destiny. I bought it. So I'm a little mad at Destiny. I bought it like maybe a week before it just went free for everybody. I was like, are you kidding me?
Ha!
Now I'm just mad.
See, I get irritated like that too, because, like, the headset I'm wearing right now, this is off topic from game, but relevant to the topic, the headset I bought right now, I got on a sale. And then within 2 days of it coming here and being in my hands, Philip DeFranco has a coupon code that was a better sale. I'm a motherfucker.
Yep.
I would have done that instead. I lost out on an opportunity.
God, that sucks. Yeah, that's frustrating.
And he never did another video. It was just the one video. It's like just the one video that happened to be 2 days after. I couldn't believe it. Apparently, the one part that's bad about living in this trailer is anytime a loud, like, 18-wheeler or motorcycle comes down the road, because the trailer is within, 40 yards, if that, up the road. I always see it in my Audacity file.
Oh, no.
Just that noise. It's hilarious. And I've had multiple times where people would cut the grass right outside my window.
Oh, yep.
And that's just distinctly like, oh my god.
Oh, that's the worst.
Luckily, it's always happened at the end of podcasts, so I was like, okay.
That's pretty lucky.
Yeah, we're gonna end it here. Well, that's why I try and time my recordings smoothly enough.
Yep.
And it always just kind of works out.
I've had a few times. Oh, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I've had a few times where I've been in the middle of recording a video, and then out of nowhere, I'll just hear a lawnmower start up like right outside my window. And I'm like, of course you have to come right now, right this second in the middle of this. I just get so angry.
Of course. And speaking of random noises, my second Dr. Pepper.
Nice.
I always have to have. I started with one that was almost empty, and you always gotta have a spare. You need a drink while you do a podcast.
Definitely. So when are you getting that? When are you getting that Dr. Pepper sponsorship?
Soon, I hope. One day. One day. It'll happen. That's on the bucket list of accomplishments for the Westocracy brand or BS Podcast brand. Either one. I'll accept either. But I'll shill them so hard. That's the dream. That's the dream you want to be in.
Definitely.
I just want the sponsorship.
Just free Dr. Pepper whenever. That's good enough.
Yeah. That'd not be a good business model. I drink way too much Dr. Pepper for that to be good for them long term. But, you know. I could make that deal for a lifetime of promoting Dr. Pepper.
Exactly.
Alpha Dream, who primarily worked on the Mario and Luigi RPGs, declared bankruptcy this week.
I heard about that.
Have you played any of those Mario and Luigi games?
No, actually, I haven't.
Well,
how is it?
I also have not really played them, but I've seen them. Because I've never really owned a Nintendo console. Nintendo's never won me over. The Switch basically wins me over, but I don't have the money to spend on it, so that's not a thing.
Right, I get that. It's hard to just drop $200 on something.
Yeah, and then especially with Nintendo games, they don't really have good sales, so you're always going to pay a lot, and I am strictly against paying $60 for a game.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. Pretty much I can't even remember the last time I bought a $60 game. I just been buying like 30 and below.
An Untitled Goose Game, for example, that's a $5 game to me.
Yeah.
I think that's a very fair enjoyment versus price. But yeah, the Mario and Luigi RPGs probably won't get another one, but everything I was reading was, of course, the first 3 games were very well received, but after that, once you got on the 3DS, they started changing stuff and releasing them more frequently. I think there's 3 3DS games for Mario and Luigi. So they kind of overwhelmed people with it as well, so it's just that combination of low sales because they oversaturated that game. And yeah, Alpha Dream probably won't be doing another one.
Oh, that sucks to be them. Always hate to see, what what once was a good company just go bankrupt.
Yeah, that's very true. And speaking of Nintendo, Pokemon Sword and Shield, we got 2 announcements this week. Do you have any stake in the Sword and Shield discussion? I know a lot of people are worried about this year's game and not looking forward to it as much.
I can't say I have any negative feelings for it. I'm just extremely hyped for it. I've loved Pokemon since the very beginning.
Well, you'll be happy to know that Pokemon Sword and Shield has announced an optional, that's the keyword, they're having an optional autosave system. You can turn it on or turn it off, because some people don't want it on because they want to load the game back for legendaries or whatever.
Yeah, you want to cheat the system.
It's an optional thing.
That's kind of cool.
And there's also a rotating camera. ... in select areas.
Oh, of course.
But hey, it's progress.
Yeah,
they're making baby steps.
But how about
things
the saves?
That should be standard?
Is there going to be more than one save this time?
I have no idea. You'd hope with an autosave system.
I mean, I guess regardless, it's not that big of a deal, since you could just make a new profile on the Switch for every save, but that's still kind of annoying.
That'd be very obnoxious to have to do. It was also announced that there would be 18 gyms spread across a major and minor league.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, 18, that's the amount of types there are in Pokemon currently, so there may be a gym for every type.
Oh, that'll be neat.
Yeah, if that holds true, that was just what I was seeing people say about it, but that'd be pretty cool. And that makes sense why some would be in the minor league, because some types aren't as good as others, especially
definitely.
They do the traditional, all my Pokemon are the water type.
Exactly.
Does anyone traditionally on their first time playing actually be like, I'm gonna be a water trainer and just stick with water type Pokemon? Is that a thing or any kind of
Oh my god, I doubt it.
Hey, I've never done that. I couldn't imagine.
I know, me either.
That should be a challenge run, though. The first time someone plays it on, like, Twitch, they have to just stick to one type. That way they don't know the game at all, but they have to stick to it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That sounds kind of fun, honestly.
Because that's kind of my thing with someone doing challenges after they've already completed it once, is you know what to expect.
Yeah.
So it's not the same challenge as if someone hasn't played it before and does it. But yeah, I mean, the more I hear about Pokemon Sword and Shield, the more I'm looking forward to it. I won't be playing it on day 1 or day 100, but maybe on day 1000 I'll be playing it. We'll see.
I'm definitely going to try to play it on day 1. It looks so fun.
Yeah. And my thing, like, because a lot of people were upset about not all the Pokemon being in the game. But at the same time, do you really need all the Pokemon in every game?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I see where they're coming from, but at the same time, you don't need all, 800 Pokemon in one game.
Gotta catch them all. It'd be like if Assassin's Creed did a game and every game after had the same gotta catch them all mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft, this time it's not them shooting themselves in the foot for no reason. They updated their franchise sales figures, and their top 3 is not really super surprising. But you had third place, Far Cry, at 50 million sold across the franchise. Second place, which really shouldn't surprise anyone, but it's a thing, Just Dance, 70 million sold.
Oh, interesting.
And then their cash cow, Assassin's Creed, at 140 million sold.
Of course.
Yeah, so love it or hate it, Assassin's Creed makes them all the money.
Yeah, definitely. I hear often that people just love playing the Assassin's Creed, you know?
I'm way behind on the Assassin's Creed series. I hope to catch up, especially once I get moved and I start streaming games. Assassin's Creed's definitely on my radar to catch up on. It'll definitely be something I look forward to catching up on. But from my experience for the first, because I played Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and is it Brotherhood? That's the third game that came before Revelations, right? I'm pretty sure.
I think so, yeah.
I enjoy each one more and more. So there's that.
Yeah, I've been kind of bad when playing Assassin's Creed. I did 1, part of 2, played 3, whichever one was during, like, the Revolutionary War. And then I played all of 4, and that was it.
Just mix and match which one you want to play.
Yeah.
But Assassin's Creed 1 especially, and I think all of them are bad about it, at least from the 3 I played, is you don't need a group of guards attacking you every 5 feet.
Oh my god, I agree.
I assume that hasn't changed. I assume it's still like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, just spending like 15 minutes fighting a group of guards, you know?
That's just filler to me. That's where my combat is overdone and overrated come from. Something like that. That is exactly what I mean by combat is overrated and overdone. That right there nails it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, to spread the love across both Xbox and PlayStation, I have news for both. Coming soon to the Xbox Game Pass console. Do you have Xbox Game Pass? I know they do stuff for the PC now, so.
Interesting. No, I don't have Game Pass.
They announced October 3rd, Dishonored 2. October 10th, World War Z, which I thought that was a dead game, but anyway. Yooka-Laylee, October 17th, Fallout New Vegas, Felix the Reaper, and Panzer Dragoon Uta, or whatever the fuck that game's called. October 25th, and this was a shocker for people, The Outer Worlds, that was for both console and PC for the Game Pass.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's the big surprise. And then October 29th, After Party. Never heard of After Party, but the Xbox Game Pass, it seems to be getting received well.
Interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah. Especially branching it off in the PC a little bit. I think that helps bridge the gap for PC players to feel the love from Microsoft a bit more and be on their side over Sony's side.
Yeah, definitely. Up until literally right now when you said that, I thought it was Xbox only.
Nope. There's the Game Pass for the PC. It costs some amount of money. It's the equivalent of like Netflix, Disney Plus. It's a streaming service for games.
Yeah, of course.
Which isn't entirely a bad model. I mean, it depends for me what games are on it, on if it's worth it. I also believe when it comes to a monthly streaming service, whether it's Netflix, Game Pass, whatever, for gaming, movies, whatever, you're not under a contract. You don't have to pay for everything every month. One month you can be like, oh, this is coming out on Netflix, or I'm behind on this on Netflix, so this month I'll get Netflix, and then I'll get this. And then the next month's like, okay, don't get Netflix, get Hulu or Amazon or whatever. You can switch it up every month, and sure, that's a pain if you don't want to go through that process. But this is the logical thing to do if you want to save money but still be able to experience everything. And this is also why I'm against the piracy thing, because you can just do that. You're not under a contract. You're not forced to be with them forever. You can do a month to month. Okay, I want Netflix in January, April, October, whatever, so you can catch up or watch these shows that are coming out this time. I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's not like cable where you're damn near locked into something for who knows how long. You can just...
forever.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you dare try and leave, we're gonna fine you.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's why when people, and I've said it, that it's becoming the cable system again. But at least with this, you're not locked in forever. You can pick and choose what you want every month. And if you have a budget of, okay, I only want to spend $30 on these streaming things, you can pick and choose.
Yeah, it's definitely good for now. Hopefully, nobody comes along and just starts selling packages of a bunch of streaming services. You know what I mean? Then it'll just really turn into cable.
Very true. And I mean, if you're one of the cable people that hate the internet anyway, you're kind of rooting for that to happen. You're rooting for it and sliding some money across the table, being like, make this happen.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, going from the Game Pass for Xbox to PlayStation, you have the PlayStation Now subscriptions, which you have PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus, which are two different subscription services Sony has. And for the PlayStation Now, it's more wait and play games like God of War, Grand Theft Auto 5, Infinite Second Son, Uncharted 4, compared to PlayStation Plus, which is more, you never know what you're going to get, and it could be a newer game, potentially. But that PlayStation Now changed their price down to $9.99 a month. The games, which I listed earlier, are available from October 1st to January 2nd. Every few months, they'll swap out some of their marquee games. Because you're going to have the marquee games that are only available for a limited time, probably about 3 months each. Assuming they'll do like every quarter. And then swap them out with other ones. And then you'll have the existing offering of popular evergreen titles that are added on a regular basis. I'm not sold on that for Sony. I'd be sooner to get the Game Pass for the Outer Worlds.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the thing with the gaming thing. Like, if your games you're offering is worth a monthly price, most games you're not going to go and replay. Let's be real. So, would you rather spend $60 on a game or spend $20 to play 5 games that you're probably not going to replay anyway?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I hate when I buy a game I'm really looking forward to. You play through it once and you're just like, all right, you know what? I played it. I don't think I need to play it again.
What game do you have the most time in?
I'm not really sure. I think when For Honor came out, I played the crap out of that. I think I got like 250 hours on that. I just loved it so much.
I feel like I've poured thousands of hours into 2 games. RuneScape, whether it be old school or the new or the old one back in the day. I really enjoy RuneScape to this day. And then Skyrim. I really enjoy Skyrim. But Skyrim is one of those games that you'll die and it pisses me off and I'll quit for a while. But Skyrim's charming enough to win me back over, and I'll come back to it.
Oh, yep. That's exactly how one of my friends is. He just rage quits for who knows how long, and then just ends up going back into it.
I imagine that'll be what happened when I try streaming Skyrim, too. I'll get pissed off because I'll die at something stupid. I'll take a break, and then 2 months later, I'll be like, oh, hey, let's start back on Skyrim, except this time I won't start a new character every time I come back to it.
Yep.
I really enjoy creating characters, though. I like being able to create a character for hours and then watch my character that I spent time on do the thing.
That's interesting. That's one of the things I've honestly never really cared too much about was just spending time to create my character. I just mainly browsed through, like, the defaults, figured out what looked the best, and then it's like, all right, that's it. Good enough for me.
That's why I'm not as excited for the Other Worlds as I wish I was, because it doesn't have the third person, but it still has character creation, so it's just like, what's the point?
Yeah, there's pretty much no point if you're not even going to look at your character.
Yeah. Because I'll play in third person primarily and then switch to first person if the game works better in certain scenarios for first person. Like for Skyrim, it's easier to pick up stuff in first person.
Yeah.
So I'll wander around in third person. Oh, I need to collect stuff. Let me hop back to first person, pick up the stuff, switch back to third. That's what I do. And then depending on the session, depends if I'll do combat in third or first, or if I'll switch up occasionally.
Oh,
it really just depends.
Yeah, I've tried playing Skyrim in third person. It just doesn't really feel the same to me, so I was like, I'm just gonna stay in first.
Very fair, very fair. So, I asked you to watch the Birds of Prey trailer.
Yeah.
And you asked me a question when I sent it to you if it was a Suicide Squad sequel. I don't even know if the next Suicide, because you had Suicide Squad, and then what is the next one? The Suicide Squad? I don't know if that's a sequel or a reboot. I don't know if Birds of Prey is a prequel to that, a sequel to the first Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
It's its own thing entirely. I don't know, honestly. DC, I enjoyed Suicide Squad. I think I'll enjoy Birds of Prey. I really enjoyed Aquaman. But DC's a mess when it comes to their movies.
Yeah, they definitely been all over the place.
I don't know if you're a big superhero movie fan or not, but I watch them all, typically, for the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Universe. I try and watch them all. And so Birds of Prey, I'll definitely watch it. The trailer, it wasn't the best trailer I've watched this year.
Yeah, I agree.
It was alright. I think, what's her name that plays Harley? What's her name?
Oh god, I have no idea.
I'd know it if I seen it, but I'm at a loss of what her name is. I think she'll do a great job, just as she did in Suicide Squad, portraying the character.
Yeah.
I think it'll be an alright movie. I don't think it'll be movie of the year or anything. I mean, how can you top Will Smith's Aladdin?
Oh, exactly.
Movie of the decade right there. I did enjoy that movie for the most part, though, Aladdin. For what it's worth.
See, unfortunately for me, as I want to watch a bunch of movies, I think so many of them look so cool. I just don't really have the time, and I'm not willing to spend, however much it costs either to go down to the movie theater to go watch a movie either.
I don't believe in going to the movie theater in 2019. I think that's an outdated concept. What's the perk in 2019 to go to the movie theater besides watching on day one? I'd say that's the one perk. You watch on day one or week one or whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to get dressed. You gotta pay a lot more than you should for food and drink. Unless you sneak it in, of course, but that's still more effort. I enjoy watching at home, not having to dress up in any way, not having to put shoes on, not having to do whatever. Being able to lay down as I want, have drinks as I want, be able to pause the movie if we need to take a bathroom break, because like the superhero movies I'll watch in a group, we'll pause it sometimes so we can go to the bathroom or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think there's a lot of, especially with TVs, because TVs are so high quality now and so big.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. If you wait for it to come out on Blu-ray, I mean, that's the only con is you have to wait. But even then, it's like 30 months wait.
Yeah, and, as long as you stay off, I guess, the entire internet, you shouldn't have any spoilers.
This is the debate I'll have with people, especially on Discord. People, for Endgame, for example, I avoided spoilers throughout the initial watching. And it wasn't until a week before it came out on Blu-ray that one of the big things got spoiled to me on the YouTuber's Discord chat.
Oh, really?
And that person felt justified in it. even though Discord has a spoiler feature. You're
Yeah,
just being
definitely.
an inconsiderate asshole. Discord literally has a feature, and if you're listening to this or not, you know how I feel about it. Fuck you. I'm sorry. Fuck you. You're inconsiderate. So yeah. Especially if Discord, which literally has a feature for it, there's no excuse.
Yep, there's no reason not to do it.
Like, even if something's a decade old, if you know that someone around you may want to watch it, why spoiler it? Just because it's been out for 10 years.
Yep.
It's just inconsiderate, and I feel like a lot of people, and I don't give a flying fuck if the people that made the Marvel movie said, oh, after 6 days, after 11 days, the window of spoilers is gone. They don't get to make that decision. They don't get to be the industry standard. Fuck them. Be considerate to people.
I agree.
I don't even know what I was talking about before I went on that rant. I got completely distracted by...
That's okay.
I'm very passionate about my spoilers. And speaking of the Netflix, Disney Plus, Apple thing, there's been this concern that, oh, everyone is gonna leave Netflix with all these shows like The Office and other shows that are... Seinfeld is now on Netflix, I believe. And you've had shows come and go from Netflix. But there was a study done by 2 Netflix subscribers in September of 2019 when it comes to, will you get Disney Plus, yes or no? Will you get Apple TV, yes or no? And for Apple TV, 23% said yes from the group they got for the survey. 77% said no. Disney Plus, it was 28% said yes. 72% said no.
Interesting.
So, and the thing about that is, the survey wasn't, are you going to drop Netflix for these? It's just, do you have interest in these other things?
Yeah, exactly.
So assuming a fifth are going to get from Netflix to the other one, assume even less of that fifth will drop Netflix specifically to go to the other one.
Yeah, I don't think Netflix is going anywhere, honestly, even with the other streaming services. I think they have the advantage just because they were literally the first one, and people are just comfortable, you know?
And they're on the ball with original programming. Sure, they cancel stuff. They cancel a lot of stuff. And people justifiably feel upset that some of their shows get ended too soon. I get that. That's fair. That's a very fair... Sci-Fi is a guilty party of that as well. But Netflix has the budget and the experience with original programming and years of seeing what people like and dislike that they just kind of have the advantage.
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
early on. And original programming is what is going to distinguish each streaming thing. You're not going to be like, oh, I have the Big Bang Theory, so you're going to get NBC's streaming service over Netflix. No, you have to have original programming. The old content is good for a backlog. People watch The Office all the time. It's a great show, in my opinion. A lot of people really like it. It's the most popular show on Netflix. But that doesn't mean they're suddenly going to come crashing down when they lose it.
Yeah, for real.
And did you know? Because there was recently a study on what is the world global internet traffic. Netflix is number 1. 15% of overall global internet traffic.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
15%. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I didn't know that.
13.1% goes to miscellaneous video embeds on different websites. 11.4% to YouTube, and 7.8% to general web browsing.
Wow.
And I didn't look to see if they had anything beyond that, 'cause I think that's a good big four. That's eventually you're gonna get down to millions of things have 0.0 whatever.
Yeah, for real.
But I mean, Netflix and YouTube being as big as they are, that I mean, it makes sense. And especially with how much data both YouTube and Netflix can use, especially Netflix being streaming and high quality compared to YouTube, where not all videos are high quality and they're shorter and people may not binge like they do on Netflix.
Yep.
It makes a lot of sense. But it absolutely blows my mind that people think... Like, I'm sure the 15% is going to drop when all these other streaming services are out. That'll drop a little bit. They may not be number one anymore. The miscellaneous video embeds may catch up. That could absolutely be a thing. I like how vague that is. Just the video embeds on different websites. But it makes sense because there's so many everywhere.
It does.
And when it comes to general web browsing, I mean, 7.8 is so small compared to what you'd think.
Yeah.
That should be like 100. That should be like 70% is just web browsing. But nope, 7.8.
Yeah, that's weird. I feel like that could also cover, literally anything,
Yeah, that's very true, but I assume they get very specific eventually.
Yeah. So,
because I'm a wrestling fan, and it was a big week for AEW's new show Dynamite, it had 1.409 million viewers and is TNT's biggest broadcast premiere in 5 years. I just wanted to quickly throw a nod at the new show, and that wrestling on a new channel is going very well for the first episode at least.
Dang,
hopefully it becomes a trend. Wrestling could come back. It could rise up and be beyond a one company thing. Competition can be good.
Oh, definitely. Competition is good for everything.
What are your thoughts on making a 4-day work week the new standard?
That would be awesome.
There's been a lot of studies on this, and it's interesting. It's an interesting debate I've seen.
Yeah, I would love for that to happen. At the job I'm at right now, my schedule is essentially like that. I just work 4 days, have 3 days off, and I work 10-hour days each. So I love it, really. Yeah, that's the thing.
4 days, it's longer days. It's not you have to make up the hours. But
yeah,
I think I really like the 4-day work model. I think 3 days off, especially whether it's in a row, which I think in a row would be the most healthy mental way to go about it.
Yeah, for real.
But even if it's spread out, it's like, oh, you get Monday off, you get Wednesday off, and you get Friday off, or whatever. You wouldn't get the weekends off in that scenario. People won't like that. But you get the weekends off and then like a Wednesday. At least there's a gap there that you can relax.
Yeah, I just don't think there's really any reason to be at your job, that often, at least consecutively.
Well, don't you know you're a slave to who you work for? You're going to work all these hours every day, and you're going to like it.
That's pretty much what it is. I mean, granted, I get that some jobs, they do need you to be there just about every day. But I feel like the good majority,
But not most jobs.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the majority of them, if you just stay a couple hours longer prior, what's wrong with having an extra day off?
Exactly. I feel like most jobs, you could just be like, okay, Samantha, you're working Monday to Thursday, and then, oh, Brian, you're working Wednesday to whatever. You can split it up like that, and it works itself out.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, even like school, wouldn't school be better if it was 4 days a week?
Probably, honestly. There's no reason
Mhm.
why I feel like it wouldn't.
Because think about this. One of the biggest complaints teachers have is, oh, there's like, some will do like 7 classes a day, so you only get a limited amount of time. If school was longer with that one extra day off, you have more time to cover stuff in a row. Because once you get in a mode, you can cover a lot more than, okay, the first
Yeah,
15 minutes and the last 15 minutes, students are going to be distracted because, oh, we just got here and they need to calm down, or, oh, they're just worried about when they can leave. If you have more time in the middle, you can get more productive stuff done.
yeah, I know when I was in school, I think I had 7 classes and they were only like 40 something minutes each. Like, how are you even
Yep,
going to learn anything in that?
exactly. So, I mean, even like schools, I think 4 days would do well, plus 3 day weekends. I think both teachers and students would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Even in college, you know? But I don't think that's top priority for colleges. First, they gotta stop milking people dry,
Yeah, definitely.
and then
Especially
putting
from
them
the
in debt
textbooks.
forever. Yeah.
Yep.
There's no reason textbooks can't be all online now.
I mean, even when they're online,
And not charging.
yeah, I had an online class this semester, and the online book, I don't know what kind of stupid thing they were doing. It's pretty much only like a 6 month rental that I get the book, and it was like $120 for online.
Why?
Yeah,
Why? Just milking. I don't understand why. Everything has to revolve around greed.
yep. Some people just want money. That's all it is.
Everyone's trying to win their own personal game of Monopoly. I prefer to just flip the whole board.
Yeah, for real. If you're losing that bad, there's really nothing else that you can do.
So, in an update to last week's story about the Impossible Burger hitting grocery stores, I've seen a complaint about the Impossible Burger that, on the outside, it sounds really bad, but if you think about it for a moment, it makes sense. The Impossible Burger is currently about triple the price of normal ground beef.
All right,
On,
what is it?
on
Well,
the
I haven't even heard of
outside,
it.
it's one of the brands for plant-based meats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you've had Beyond Meat and then the Impossible Burger.
Yeah.
Those are 2 popular brands. Beyond Meat did stuff with KFC earlier in the year. Beyond Meat was the one I was hearing more about for a few months, and now the Impossible Burgers kind of came up.
Okay.
But it's currently triple the price of normal ground beef. But it's like, okay, yeah, there's way more demand for normal ground beef. Most people have not tried plant-based meat, and they're
Mm-hmm.
cautious of trying it because you have people trying to have the narrative be, one or the other.
Yeah.
And I told Bill this last week. I've not tried it yet, but I want to. Not because I'm looking. Well, one, killing cows is bad, first and foremost. But even then, it's not about replacing. I look at it as a different flavor. This is just a different flavor. It's not trying to be the exact same. It's a different flavor.
Yeah,
And
that's
why
a
would
good
you
point.
not give something new, a new flavor, a try? Sure, you may not like it, but how will you know if you don't try? And not all plant-based meat's gonna taste the same, like Beyond Meat and the Impossible Burger. They're gonna taste different.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like people are looking to be like, oh, plant-based meat, it's not the same, so it's bad, so dismiss it all.
Yep.
I just don't think that's the way I go about it. I mean, whether or not you're looking for a replacement or not, I just look at it like a different flavor.
Yeah, I like the way that you think about that. I haven't thought about that before. Like I've had a couple um like plant-based burgers. I thought they were fine, personally. I didn't really care
Yeah,
in all honesty. So that's a good
yeah,
way to look at it.
it's just something different.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, with all the food out there, why not? It's like a soda. Some people may like Pepsi, some like Coke. I like Dr. Pepper. You may like Mountain Dew.
Yep, exactly.
Whatever.
I
They're
don't know
all...
about. Sorry, I was
Go
gonna say
ahead.
I don't know about triple the price for the different burger. I don't know if I'd be willing to do that. But if it was like the same price, you know what I mean? It'd be a lot easier.
Absolutely, but it can't be the same price immediately. There's not the same demand yet.
I suppose.
It's supply and demand. Eventually, you need the demand to be something that we can supply it at a lower cost.
Yeah, I mean, I agree for the most part, but I feel like that price is also still keeping a lot of people away.
Very fair, and it should. But it's all about the hype. Eventually, the hype will be like, okay, maybe we really like this brand of plant-based meat. I'd recommend you try it. And they're like, oh, I tried it. It was fine. Or it was bad. Or it was good. And then it just spreads around. You know. I've talked about plant-based meat a lot. And it's not even that I'm vegetarian or vegan. I'm not. But it's just so fascinating to me to see the process. Yeah, especially like long term, what could it mean? Especially if you can get more and more dynamic food out of plants compared to eventually when all the animals go extinct, you'll still have plants.
Yeah, you're right. But what about
So
lab-grown meat? How do you feel about that?
Have I had lab-grown meat? Why? Is there a certain brand?
I don't think it's technically out yet, but I've read a few things about, people trying to have lab-grown meat.
Do you
just
know
instead of
anything about that process or any? Can you explain to me how that works?
not specifically, it's just aside from slaughtering regular animals, they just essentially take cells and grow it in the lab. It's supposed to be more or less exactly the same, just not, I guess, quote unquote, real.
The part I'm failing to grasp is, okay, if you take the cells, how do you just turn that into meat and not into the animal?
Magic. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. To me, it just reads like, oh, we're creating new cows.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not an expert on it, but I assume it's roughly similar to how I think I've heard about, they sometimes can grow replacement organs and whatnot in the lab. I assume it's roughly the same thing.
Could be. What, you mean they're not just getting a baby and raising it for a few years so they can take the organs?
I would hope not, anyway.
I am open to lab grown meat. I would want to hear more about it. It's clear I don't know much about it at all. That would be an interesting thing to look into. I'll have to look into that for the next podcast and see what there is about that. See what brands may try and take on lab grown meat instead of the normal. If it'll taste roughly the same or be a different flavor. All interesting things to look at.
Yeah, exactly.
I just feel like that's the better way to look at it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Once you get into the, plant-based meat, replace actual meat. If you go about it with that argument, you're going to have people get defensive, and once that shield is up, they're going to hold it against plant-based meats forever. But if you look at it from a flavor perspective, I just think you lower that shield. Nobody's trying to replace nobody, but maybe if long-term we can't kill the animals anymore, you'll already like the plant-based stuff, or you'll be on lab-based stuff, whatever long-term thing we have to go with, because eventually we're going to hit that point. So it's just interesting to...
It is. It's very cool to think about.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated with stuff like this. Like, I don't always talk about stuff from, like, the Futurology subreddit, because a lot of stuff, like, vehicles, I don't drive or anything, and I'll find it cool to see, but unless it's, like, a flying car, what's there really for me to talk about?
Yeah.
One day we'll have flying cars.
God, I hope so. That'd be so cool.
I can't. Would you rather have a flying car or just have like a hoverboard? In a way, I'd just kind of rather have the hoverboard.
Yeah, I mean, technically it'd be the same thing if it's not on the ground.
Technically, but this would be much smaller. It's just a skateboard except no wheels and it flies.
Yep.
That'd be the way to go, I think.
If I recall correctly, though, don't they already have hoverboards? Didn't that come out a couple years ago?
Not effective ones.
I was just making fun of the fake hoverboards they came out with that for some reason some of them would explode too, for whatever reason.
Don't you just love when you buy a new electronic and then you hear on the news, oh, this explodes?
Yeah. Just all of a sudden it's like, hey, wait, maybe you shouldn't buy that. It's dangerous.
Oh, wait, you already bought it? Well, you better be careful. That would be the most terrifying thing. You're trying to use a hoverboard and then you hear it start making a noise and you're like, oh, I've heard this thing explodes, and you just start running away from it.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be that'd just give you a mini heart attack. So, what game are you looking forward to for the coming year?
Definitely The Last of Us 2. With that recent trailer that came out, it got me extremely hyped.
Oh, we talked about it last week. Bella, of course, has a lot of bad opinions on games. We're opposite. But, you know. I really... The Last of Us 1 is one of the few games that made me cry.
Yeah, so it was such an amazing game.
Yeah. I appreciate when a game's story and characters can make me shed a tear. I think that's a great A. I don't like scary games. That's not what I'm looking for. But if a game makes me cry, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So, The Last of Us 2, I really am looking forward to how that goes. That may be a game that I break my price point policy and we will see. It depends how much money I have at the time we will see.
Yeah, they definitely have it better be a good one. It's going to be hard to live up to the first one, honestly.
That's the thing. I don't think it'll do. I don't think it'll, no matter what it does, because that's the thing. And some shows, and it's easy to do it for a TV show, you can maintain the same level of quality, but eventually people are going to be like, oh, this isn't as good as it once was. And it's not because it went down in quality, it's just because they didn't raise the bar.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be hard. I think
that's going to be the thing for The Last of Us. If they even just match the quality of the first game, I think people will be disappointed because they want to see it elevate.
Yeah, I feel like, the same thing. It'll be, more or less, they've already seen this before because they didn't raise the bar.
Yep. But I mean, I stuck by Telltale, and I'll still stick by Telltale today for their games, although they dropped in quality at the end.
Did they?
Because they wanted to release so many.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, I mean, none of them were bad. I really enjoyed that kind of game, but it wasn't The Wolf Among Us or The Walking Dead.
Okay, yeah, I haven't played any of the Telltale games, so I wouldn't know, honestly.
That's my favorite kind of game. Well, RPGs, I guess you should say, is my favorite kind of game because I poured thousands of hours into them, like Skyrim and RuneScape, but...
Yeah.
I enjoy my storytelling games that aren't combat heavy.
I see what you mean, yeah.
Quantic Dream games, Heavy Rain Beyond Two Souls, Life is Strange I really enjoyed, Until Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Games like that,
See, I like games that have a nice healthy blend. They have a lot of story, but then there's also a lot of gameplay in with it too.
And that's fair. I mean, if they can mix it well, I agree. But if it's like Batman Arkham Asylum or early Assassin's Creed game, or apparently all the Assassin's Creed games where they use combat as filler, not a fan.
Yeah.
But I really like the story and the characters. just
Yep.
not the combat.
It's definitely a hard thing to balance, right?
It is. It's for me. It's just I want every combat to matter, and I don't want it to be they've set up the game for you're Assassin's Creed. Oh, you're gonna run into guards every few feet, and it's automatic. You hit a certain point, and bam, guards are immediately target you.
Yep.
I don't think that's the way to go about it. It needs to make sense, but be fun.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube. My channel name is HopInsteadofJump. And hopefully when you guys see me, you don't hate me immediately.
What happens if they jump instead of hop?
They're banned. I banned them from everything. I banned them from life.
I think that's just fair. I think that's absolutely fair. It's simple instructions. You hop instead of jump. If you jump instead of hop, you asked for it.
Exactly. It's right in the name. You shouldn't miss it. And if you do, I don't know what to tell you.
Do you have a trade-in seminar of what a jump is versus a hop? This is a video that if you haven't done, you need to do. You need to teach people the difference between a hop and a jump so people know.
I actually don't have a seminar. I hope I don't need to make one, but, some people have a harder time than others, and I want to give them a fair chance. So maybe I should do that.
What happens if I spiral glide instead of hopping or jumping?
That's fair. There's nothing wrong with that, because it's honestly neither. You're just gliding.
Yeah, but you hop first, so you don't necessarily jump.
Exactly.
I say Spyro's a hopper, not a jumper.
Oh, I agree 100%. He can't jump for crap.
It's his poor wings. With the Spyro games, because you had the original, and then on the PS2, you had they had those other games that people don't really talk about. But I played those too, and they were interesting other games for Spyro.
Yeah, you're gonna hate me, but Enter the Dragonfly was actually the only one I've ever played. I haven't played any real Spyro game.
Enter the Dragonfly is what, 4?
I think so, yeah. I think it was pretty much when I first came to the PS2.
See, I don't know, because I haven't played. I own the Spyro Remastered Reignited trilogy, but I don't know what game I have so fond memories of. It's not Spyro. I remember Spyro 1, but Spyro Run isn't my memories. They're not my favorite memory of Spyro.
Okay.
They're fine. Spyro 1's fine, but it's kind of frustrating. I have good memories of the other game. I don't know which one it is. Is it 2, 3, or 4? We'll see. If it's not 2 or 3, it's 4. But I'm pretty sure it's 2 or 3. We'll see. Because I have distinct memories.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to figure out which one it is. You know what else I want remastered?
What?
Sly Cooper.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't played that one either, but I hear only good things about it, and I've heard so many people want a remaster on that too.
I want all 4 games remastered.
Really? There's 4?
Wouldn't you play that? Yeah, they had Thieves in Time that came out like a decade later.
Okay.
Plus later. Yeah. Because if they remastered it, I think a lot of new people would play it.
Yeah, definitely. I would probably be one of those new people.
Because right now, the only way you can play it is PS3. And that goes back to the Demon's Souls argument, where...
Yep.
Outdated.
Yep.
It'll get lost in the wind.
Yeah, the only games I played from that era were Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank. I played the crap out of those 2.
I love Jak and Daxter. I enjoyed Ratchet and Clank, but I don't think I've finished any of the Ratchet and Clank games.
Really? I thought they were all pretty awesome, personally.
I enjoyed them, I just never finished them. I was a Sly Cooper kid. Well, I beat Sly Cooper. I enjoyed Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank, and I'd probably put Ratchet and Clank at the bottom of those 3. But the main games I poured my time into as a kid was the Dragon Ball Z fighting games.
Really?
Budokai 2, Budokai 3, Budokai Tenkaichi 1, 2, and 3, Sagas, Super Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
There's at least one more that I owned on the PS2. I played all of those and spent many, many hours playing those games. I was a sinful kid. Anime's a sin. But I was a kid. I didn't know better. The PS2 was a great console. I don't think any console has matched my amount of games enjoyed yet.
Oh, I agree. Me too.
Cause the PS2, I mean, there was a lot of games on the PS2, and it lasted a while. Plus, it was my childhood, so...
Weren't they still making games for, like, 20 years?
Yeah, I mean, a long time. I mean, if I guarantee if you look up what the last PS2 game was released, it wouldn't be too shocking. I bet it's within the last decade.
Yeah.
Which, from a business perspective, once the next generation is here, and it's been like 3-4 years, and you're still making games for the old console, I don't think that's the best business decision, but you do you.
I agree. I mean, whatever they did, it was working, apparently.
I'd be curious of people to do a review of games that's come out on old generations that got lost in the wind because people were playing the new console and the new games.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'd want a channel that goes over those games that you probably never even heard of because they came out on the old console when nobody was looking.
Yeah.
That, if someone's made it this far in the BS podcast, that is a channel idea. All for free.
For free?
Well, if you'd like to give both Hop and myself 5% of all future revenue for the channel, I'm okay with that.
I like that idea. Good for me.
Yeah. All about sharing the wealth. I'll play that share the wealth card. But yeah, I mean, Avatar: The Last Airbender is another good example of a PS2 game I really enjoyed. And it's hard to look back because you can't play PS2 games on an HD TV and get the same feeling. It'll look lower quality than it was. And especially like Avatar, like, to me that was a great game when I was a kid. I thought that was a great game, one of the best of the PS2. But you look at it now, and because it's not optimized for an HD TV, it looks really bad.
I didn't even know Avatar had a video game, honestly.
Multiple.
I totally missed that.
I was only into the first one, though. I think it released on the PS2 and the Nintendo Wii.
Okay.
I know it had at least 2 games. It probably had more. I only owned the first 2, and I didn't really play the first 2. The second one kinda didn't hook me in the same way the first one did.
It's generally how sequels go.
Yeah? Were you a big PS2 gamer?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I was a little young then, so I never actually bought my own, but I always begged my dad to buy me them.
Same. I am currently looking at my old PS2 games to see if any of them spark memories. I enjoyed some of the Harry Potter games. Not all of them are good, but Harry Potter 3 was the peak.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'd say. But the third one was the peak, and then at 4 they started going downhill. Let's see, does any of them spark any memories before we go? Wrestling games, of course. I enjoyed my wrestling games. I really enjoyed the Lego Star Wars games.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about those.
Yeah,
those are really good.
NBA Street, not a basketball fan, but I enjoyed NBA Street. I don't know what year this is, but I enjoyed the one Need for Speed game that apparently people didn't like on the PS2. It's my favorite racing game to this day. Need for Speed Carbon.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of that one. I only ever played Most Wanted.
I did not see Most Wanted in my collection. I seen Underground and Carbon. That's fun. ATV Off-Road Fury 2. I have good memories of that.
Oh my god, me too. I used to just spend so much time exploring the map on that one. They had surprisingly big
Yeah,
maps.
they did. It was interesting. Oh, I'm at my Dragon Ball Z game. Oh, I forgot Infinite World. That's the one I missed.
What is that one?
I don't know what it is. I don't have the case. It's in storage. But yeah. I own a lot of PS2 games, and I really enjoyed the PS2.
Yeah, me too.
I
The
probably
PS2 is a
own
great console.
as many PS4 games, to be fair.
Huh.
I just haven't got to play them because I want to stream or let's play them, and I'd prefer to stream them.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully everyone has enjoyed this edition of the BS podcast. I got distracted looking down memory lane.
It happens.
Memory lane's good. It's a good road to go down sometimes.
It is.
Hopefully, everyone, whether you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you may actually be listening to this on, you share it. Sharing is the easiest way that you can do universally to help get the podcast spread, to get more people listening, because I really enjoy talking with a new guest every week and bringing back guests on occasion. I think it goes really well. I think it provides good talks, and I think I bring an interesting set of topics.
I agree.
Hopefully everyone has a good Tuesday, although we're recording this on Friday.